Okay, so next up we have a song which I believe is called Hancock Party, as in the stamp, maybe? Might be wrong. By a band called Cantoy. Again, as sometimes happens, I don't know which way round that is, which one's the band and artist, but usually the artist name comes first. Yeah, Cantoy official channel. So I'm looking forward to hearing this party because the thumbnail looks absolutely berserk. So let's see what this is about. Okay, that was a lot of fun, to be honest. I'm clearly not supposed to be taken too seriously, so maybe it sounds a bit harsh to overanalyze it. But basically, I thought that was a really good song with a nice little chorus in it. It was a lot of fun, moved around quite a lot. I would say that there was so much going on in the song, so many twists and turns, that it didn't quite feel like the chorus was enough to bring it all together. It was catchy, but it was very short. It just kind of goes round and round. Yeah, I don't know whether the chorus was one that's getting stuck in my head because I think it's a really good chorus or because it's just one of those ones which is an earworm for maybe not the most pleasurable reasons, but just because, girls are party. I don't know. However, I did enjoy it. I was having a lot of fun while it was on. I think it was a good song. It had enough interest in there not to become boring at any point. It got through 4.5 minutes, like I say, without becoming boring at any point. And I have a very short attention span. So I thought that was great. And the video as well. Obviously, the video was a big part of the whole thing. I think this was more than just a song. It was really supposed to be a whole comedy bit together. I don't know whether that's true, but it certainly felt that way, and it really came together because there was a lot of personality on screen. I like the fact that the personality you could hear in the song was translated into an entertaining character on the screen. The way that she went through that whole training montage and sort of realising all the skills that she'd learned from making gyoza was really fun. Yeah, I think if you just take this as being a light-hearted piece of entertainment supposed to be watched as its own little show, in that case, it's really great. I would recommend it 110%. If it's something you're thinking, is this a song that I'm going to sit down and regularly listen to? Yeah, probably not, but I'm not even sure it was designed to be that way. They did go for the earworm thing a little bit, but I don't think that was necessarily the end goal of this. So if this is a group who have kind of a comedy flair and like to do little light-hearted things like this, then definitely I would be willing to check out more. Am I going to come back to this song regularly? Probably not, but certainly it's got me more interested in the artist than anything. So Cantoy on the radar. Okay, so I skipped over a couple of songs that I've actually listened to and commented on before already, and come to our next recommendation, which is a song called Lemon by inshow-ha. Now I think, was it Lemon was the name of the really famous song by Kenshi Yonezu, which was like massive here for quite a while. So I don't know if this is the same song. I'm assuming not, and I think that's the Kyoto gates that they're showing there. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I have no frame of reference for what this is going to be, whether it's going to be funny or whether it's going to be some meaningful song about the depths of lemon and bitterness between people. Listen to the song first, Howard. Okay, so I just finished the song, and I must say, I'm really sold on this. I really like it. It's got sort of a quality that appeals to me so much, which is, and this is something that people will know who've worked with electronic music or even with doing hip-hop backings. There is a certain skill to producing a backing that can repeat but not become repetitive. It's got all the right levels of intricacies. It's not so much in your face that it becomes tiring. It's not so simplistic that it becomes boring. It's just got lots of little details that rotate around and sort of build you into a trance. And I'm not talking about trance music as a genre, I'm talking about genuinely giving you a sort of like trance-like state. If you can do that, which you can do, it's amazing. I'm sure we've all heard songs like that where there's just a certain riff that just goes around and you could listen to it for 20-30 minutes without getting tired of it. This song sort of achieves that. It's got this really interesting sort of distorted but not aggressively set of sounds going on there. There's a riff happening, a sort of noodling riff which is moving very quickly underneath, which is kind of changing, it's sort of bouncing on different beats so it doesn't become too repetitive, and it's got this distorted sound that means it could either be a very interesting creamy electric guitar or it could even be an electric piano going through distortion. It's almost impossible to tell. I think it's a guitar, but it could be both. I mean, on top of that you've got a drum beat which is very sort of steady, but it's played naturally. It doesn't sound programmed, and therefore it gives you just enough off kilter to not become too tiring and metronomic. On top of that, you have all the other little sounds. There's so many little sounds creeping in, but then they give more obvious layers over the top. I love when the piano comes in. Also like the breakdown at the beginning of the second verse. I like those little bits that just take you away and sort of take everything in a different direction, but without removing from that core, which kind of stays throughout the entire song. Now, one of the big interesting things is because it is a core-based song with effectively a looping thing going round underneath, it therefore doesn't have chord changes. It's just a sort of a loop of sounds, a loop of riffs, and I wouldn't say a refrain, but sort of repeating loops for the best part, which are being layered in. That's where the chorus comes in so well. The chorus comes in, and without removing that, you get a progressing guitar chord just simply played, and that gives impact because you get the power of that electric guitar sound. Again, not too aggressive, but enough to give it punch when it comes in, and the fact that it changes chords over the top sort of re-identifies everything underneath. That's a technique I really love. It's a simple one which you don't see used enough, but when it happens, it's really great. I love the fact they've done that so well in here, and it's got a catchy chorus to boot. Love the chorus melody. Again, you could argue it's a little bit short form, could it become tiresome if you listen to it too much? Perhaps, but the chorus is not overdone. They don't milk it too much. It's there just enough, and then at the end of the song, rather than going back round to the chorus, they just kind of layer up some of the sounds, layer up some of the instruments, and let the song play out. I think it's a really clever bit of songwriting. I think it's delicate. It does something which is so simple and direct and so impactful, but it's full of intricacies and really smart choices. Plus, the video, as I say, really eye-catching. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm watching, but it really works. And I think that's really the whole point of this video and this song. We're not doing anything here which is revolutionizing it, changing, reinventing the wheel, should we say. It's just we're doing all the right things, little things that maybe are not so clever on their own, but you put them together and the overall impact, the sum of the parts is massive here. I really like this, and I definitely would be up for checking out more of them. Fantastic stuff. Okay, here's our last song for today until we do the next part of this recommendations review, and that is a song by a band who I haven't reviewed them before as far as I'm aware, but I did bring them up in my video about the Japanese bands with the weirdest names. Their name here is Perapera Shiteyari Taiwazu, which I believe that translates to something really weird, something about sniffing something. I can't remember what it was, but apparently they shortened it to Pero. I wonder why. Alright, let's check out this song called Bless You. That does make it sound like it's something about sniffing something, and then I gotta remind myself what this name is. Okay, all in all, that was a cool little song. I actually really enjoyed it. Had that sort of old school feel. There seems to be something that we're noticing in a lot of the recommendations I get. It's very old school sounding songs. That might just be a bit of a Japanese thing anyway. There is a bit of a love for retro, especially considering a lot of the sort of 70s and 60s music that we think about in the Western scene. Obviously, they didn't have that at the time. So in a way, they're kind of retrospectively catching up on a lot of old trends that maybe have passed by and become dated and retro in the West. So maybe that's more common, but I did really like this. Had a nice feel. Maybe more modern reference, the sort of garagey sound, the very open and sparse sound of things, the distorted guitar with the very sort of clangy sounding hi-hats and overheads on the drum kit, along with that echoey vocal which was doing sort of a spoken rap thing for a lot of it. It gave me real vibes actually of the Ting Tings, which is a band who I don't dislike as much as a lot of other people do. I think they're a pretty interesting band, maybe run out of ideas pretty early in their career, but interesting band. And I got that vibe from here. It had that sort of garagey, punky sound, but whilst not actually being aggressive, instead sounding more funky and more like you were kind of in a sort of chilled out space. This is something where, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that it stood out in any way enough that I would say I'm rushing to come back to this band. However, if someone said, hey, I got some Pero, I'm not going to say the original name of the band, just Pero. If someone said, hey, I got some Pero, do you want to put it on? I'd definitely be up for that. Will I listen to them more in the future? I might do. I kind of get a vibe for what kind of sound they're going for here, and maybe this is what a lot of their other songs sound like, so maybe if I'm in the mood, I'll put on some Pero and see. But at this point, it was just a good listen, not something that remarkably stood up to me as, oh, I've got to listen to them again immediately, but a good listen. And definitely, I'll be up for more Pero if you guys want to recommend some to me. But anyway, there you go. These are my reactions to some more of your review suggestions. As always, get in the comments to tell me what you think. Feel free to get on our Discord or Reddit if you want to give more suggestions for me to go check out. And until I see you very soon in Japan, hopefully for more of these, for now, ciao ciao.